The world is changing fast, and so are the local real estate markets. Don't worry, though. We've got you covered. Welcome to the Real Estate Revolution.
That's right. This is the Real Estate Revolution podcast. I am Kip Lohr, your host with Lohr Real Estate, and we have a very special show for you today. Unfortunately, Ryan Neal is not with us. He's still on a hiatus. He's on special assignment in Spain, so no market report today. But we do have three very special guests in the studio today, and one of which is Grant with Linnius. We have Chris with Central Oregon Gutters, and we also have Tyler with Infinity Solar. They are going to be three very informative guests that are doing great work here in Central Oregon. We can get your solar needs taken care of, get your gutters taken care of, and Grant at Linnius will do everything on the construction front to get your remodel up to snuff, get your cabinets installed. So I'm really looking forward to talking to these guys. So let's bring them on. Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Revolution podcast. I'm Kip Lohr, your host with Lohr Real Estate. We are here at the Central Oregon Builders Association Home and Garden Show. It is day 2. It is packed. We're having a good time. It has been 2 years since we've been able to be here, and it's been fun so far. We have Grant from Linnius Construction in the studio. Hello, Grant.
Good afternoon. And it is rocking in here today.
It is kind of rocking in here. It's a little busier today than it was yesterday.
I think everybody needed to get out.
And they got out into the weather. I mean, the weather's been like something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday I had all of my kettle chips blow out of my my little bowl that I had. So anyway, thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting me on the show.
Yeah, no worries. And so before we start talking about Linnius and what you do, and because I've got a construction background, I'm going to geek out a little bit on you, and I'm just going to warn you ahead of time. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff that maybe we won't get too technical, but that's okay. There's going to be people that enjoy that part of it too. But tell us a little about you, your family, how long you've been in town, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my wife and I moved to Bend originally in 2004.
From
Northern California.
Okay. You don't have to be ashamed of that, dude.
No, I'm not ashamed of it.
I'm responsible for at least half of the Californians that live here in Bend. So yeah, it's not. You guys are great.
Yeah,
and you're an Oregonian now. You've been through the wars of the Great Recession.
I have, and you know what? I have 3 kids that are all native.
There you go. They're all Bendites.
And,
how old are they?
They are 15, 11, and 9.
So you got a high schooler. What high school?
Oh, Mountain View.
Okay.
Yeah, go Cougs.
Go Cougs. Exactly. Right. So how you liking Bend versus NoCal?
Oh, geez. I mean, my wife and I moved here specifically. That was, for our kids. It was one of the big reasons is that we didn't have kids at the time. Within a very short trip to Bend, we knew this was a community that we wanted to raise our kids in. And I mean, like you just mentioned off the top of your head, like Mountain View, my son was on the high school ski team this year as a freshman.
Wow.
And it just, from where I grew up, it's just like, that's just an amazing, fun opportunity for a kid to go through that experience.
Yeah, no
And
doubt.
Here, when you grow up as a kid, you're just lucky, right?
Well, no, it's just the way life is. You're not lucky.
Right.
You grow up in this, if you grow up here, you don't realize how lucky you are.
Yeah.
It's just really cool. So tell me a little bit about the name Linnius. It's kind of for a construction company. We live here in Central Oregon. You got Mount Bachelor this and Deschutes River that. How did you come up with Linnius?
When I was thinking of a company name, I was really trying to get creative and brainstorming, and I had all these ideas. A lot of them were related to the mountains and lakes and all these things that inspire us here, living here. And they were like all taken. You go on the business registry. I'm like, don't. Someone thought of that one. Someone saw that one, and then. I sat down, talked with my wife, and just really talked about the things that were, influential for me in my life.
Yeah.
And I ended up naming the company after my paternal grandfather, Linnius Hanson.
That's a great name.
Yeah,
all by itself.
World War II vet.
Okay.
Somebody I really admired growing up in my life.
Yeah.
And it sort of stuck. So
And in a way, you kind of lucked out because you actually you stand out in a crowd of the Deschutes River that's and the Mount Bachelor this's and the Three Sister that's.
Well,
right?
I think when you're meeting with clients and they're making a huge investment of their home, and we're talking like sometimes it's lots and lots of money.
Yep.
I think when they know that I associated that with the name of my grandfather, there's a little bit element of trust because it means a lot to me. Like if somebody gave us a bad review or said we did bad, it's going to hit hard on me versus if it was just,
name,
it's like, hey,
I hear you.
come on.
I hear you.
So,
I agree with
you.
Yeah, I get it. So you are doing mostly remodel and additions here in Central Oregon. And so tell us a little bit about that. I think let's just jump right into it. So there's a process for those of you out there that are thinking about doing remodel or building, addition or doing new construction for that matter, because a lot of the processes are the same. Most people don't understand there's a process, and a lot of people want to start at getting the keys to the front door rather than there's a lot of prep before you can even start design and all of that. So I'm gonna throw it to you to kind of, where do we start? Let's talk about the process.
Yeah, just everything happening right now in our market. We've got a lot of people coming to Bend from other markets, Seattle, San Francisco, Portland, and a lot of times they're buying older homes. As you know, I think Central Oregon was crazy during the late 90s.
Yep.
We led the country in new home construction.
That's right.
And then, look at the date. Now all these homes are getting 20 and 30 years old.
That's right.
They're all needing remodels at the same time.
100%. And they probably needed remodels right out of the gate, to be honest with you. But, that's a subject for another podcast.
As they're coming in, I just noticed that, a lot of times, even being Bend, a booming economy that it is, the prices are still lower here than they are in the places they came from.
That's right.
So people want to meet. They want to go over their quick scope of work, and literally they want to jump right to construction. They want to give you money, and they just want to know, hey, when can we start?
When could we be finished?
When
can we start? It's like, when can this thing be done?
And a lot of that starts, and I know you're in real estate, but it starts with a real estate agent, and they're just say, hey, we're closing on this next month. We'd like to have the remodel done within the first 2 weeks. Before we move in, and it's just kind of like setting realistic expectations.
You need me to help you set the expectations, right? Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and to do that, you actually have to understand what the expectations should be.
Exactly.
Which, unfortunately, not all of us do. So help us out.
Yeah. So basically, on our website, www.linnius.com, we put together like a river guide process map, and basically it just shows what it takes to really get to what they want, which is that construction piece, and get their project wrapped up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of planning, design work. We work with architects, we work with interior designers so that the client can help us get to what we do best, which is to come in and do the work.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of contractors in town, and they can all tell you they're really good about doing the work. They're not really good about choosing light colors and color temperatures and things like that.
Right. Does this go with this?
They want a set of plans and they want to go. They want to get to work.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, and they just want you to dump the design stuff on somebody else. That makes sense.
Yep.
So in remodel, you know as well as I do that there's a disruption to the home. Like when I'm talking to people, we're selling people houses, and we know out of the gate there's going to be work that needs to be done. One of the things I always recommend, getting back to setting expectations, is like, hey man, don't move into it. Depending on what they're having done. You get your kitchen ripped out, you don't have a kitchen anymore. And if you got a wife, you're not going to have one by the end of the project, unless you've got a plan around it. And so we like to set the expectations right out of the gate that, like, look, there's going to be disruption to the home depending on what it is that you're trying to do here. Like, say we're going to rip out all the carpet and put down hardwood floors throughout the whole house. You don't have a house to live in until that's done. You know as well as I do, right?
So, and I think to that extent, things have gotten worse in that respect. You sort of hit the nail on the head. And the reason why is just everything that's happened over the pandemic the last 2 years. I think before that, there was some space where people would go to work. They'd be gone 9 to 5, and then when they got home, things were quiet. Yep. And they're like, well, things are a little bit out of sorts, but I didn't hear anything. Now, everybody's working from home, and it's a big deal to try to be on
around people.
Be on a conference call, and it's like, hammers are banging, dogs barking, kids running around. It's just a much different deal. So.
It is. So how do you handle it?
So basically, we do encourage people to kind of do like you say, is set the proper expectations. So they're either out of the house or moving out. Sometimes people that are moving in when they're in tight deadlines, we're suggesting to do Airbnbs and VRBOs.
Totally.
It actually turns out to be a great family experience for them because sometimes they're renting places in areas they wouldn't normally do. We're also really trying to get creative with how we're structuring the projects, and a lot of that goes along to our relationships with like our building inspectors in the city and county.
Yeah.
Like for example, in the past, I may have like we're doing an addition right now in Sun River. We would want to come in and just do everything at once, right?
Yeah.
But for the family, we're actually just doing the addition side first and not touching the main house.
So they can kind of move into the addition.
Yeah, but
and then
as you can imagine, though, that makes permitting a little weird, right? Because you're like, wait, how do we get our plumbing permit or rough-in when the electrical rough-in isn't done on half the job? Are we going to do 2 projects, 2 permit fees?
100%.
Yeah, so you know, we work with our building inspectors and local officials, and they're letting us do conditional approvals subject to the rest of the work. So that way, they're completely isolated from one part of the construction. When they're done, they're going to move over into their nice new addition, and we're going to start on their main house.
Brilliant.
So
brilliant. I mean, and I'll tell you, back when I was doing construction, you wouldn't be able to get any inspector.
It's just different. Yeah, it's different.
And well, and I think you're right. The pandemic has really kind of shifted, you know, the paradigm of how people are in their homes, how much time they're in their homes, and it's nice to know that the local you know, building departments are being a little more accommodating.
They are, and they're doing things that really help us out that they wouldn't have done in the past because they're being understanding and working with us. So like right now when we're doing jobs, a lot of builders right now, we can't get windows. But, you know, before they would not let your, you know, electrical rough-in, your insulation proceed because you're not dried in.
That's right.
So what we're doing now is we're basically proceeding with the project.
You just stay
boarding up. Yeah, we're boarding up the windows, adding some insulation so our drywall can get, you know, dried properly, and we're proceeding. And then our inspectors are saying, hey, we understand what's going on with windows. So when they do come in, you know, you're allowed to drop them in after the fact, and we'll give you the proceed with the rough-in inspection.
Wow.
So that's really nice.
So they're basically just saying, look, we know we're going to be out of sync on the inspections because of supply chain issues, because of, you know, like you say, you're building an addition, you want to move the family into one side. That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
So back to supply chain issues, like how are you finding, you know, how is that affecting, you know, costs for people looking to do these types of projects? And then also, how are you guys combating some of the, like you're saying, I just can't get windows. How do you keep moving along on a project?
Yeah, you know, I think one of the important things is everybody in some circumstance, you know, is trying to battle the rising cost issue, right?
Yep.
So a lot of times over the course of the project, we're working on projects where we, you know, walk the site to build them sometimes 18 months, you know, a year prior, you know, based on planning and permitting and things like that. So what we're really encouraging is, you know, to get into contracts soon and then get all of our products ordered.
Yep.
So we do that. We typically have all of our materials ordered, so they're protected against cost increases.
Yep.
And then we basically use our shop to store a lot of them. And then in circumstance, if it's a big job, we're basically renting shipping containers on the job site so we can keep things secure, safe, and ready to go, and not waiting too late and then having a massive price increase.
That totally makes sense. That totally makes sense.
We've had to get into some things that I didn't expect early last year with the demand on cabinetry. A lot of cabinet makers in town are built out, and in our business for remodeling, cabinets set the schedule. You know, we basically set the cabinet schedule. Everything is based off that, what happens before and after.
Yep.
You know, we were getting a lot of quotes, you know, 5-6 months booked out. So our company ended up acquiring a cabinet shop. We moved in together, and that's really helped us control the schedule because when it comes to remodels, because we have better communication. We're in the same shop.
Yep.
Better timelines and more efficiencies between employees.
You can set the priorities too.
Correct.
You know,
yeah.
So you can maybe move one project ahead of another that, you know, maybe one's got some things that are holding up. You can take that opportunity and slide somebody in. Whereas if you're just going with an outside cabinet shop, they're on their schedule and you're on their conveyor belt. You don't have any control of the conveyor belt.
Yeah, and I think you're going to probably see that more in Central Oregon, just within the industry.
Wow.
I was just over in this other hallway walking, and I saw that Central Oregon Heating and Cooling, which is a great big local company.
Yep.
They bought Redmond Electric.
They did,
and that was for a reason, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, hey.
Yeah,
we need
can't
to set
wait on electricians. Yeah. You got to kind of control your own subs.
You got to control your own subs. Now they're ours.
They're ours. Yeah, that's right. You can't tell me you can't show up because I'm telling you to go tomorrow.
We set the schedule. Yeah,
totally. Wow, that's brilliant. So it's nice to see that there's like this kind of metamorphosis in the industry that's happening because it needed to happen. These type of conveyor belt chains where all of these interactivities between the plumbers and the electricians and the drywall guy and the insulation guy and then materials that are coming or aren't coming, any one of those things could throw the whole project off. And then once it's off, it's hard to get it back on again.
It is. Yeah, it's tough because it's like the doctor's office. one trade gets kicked, and then everybody else down the road is delayed.
Yeah, that's right. When the doctor chats up the guy in front, in the morning, I actually my doctor is like that. Like, he loves sitting and talking a long time with his patients, and so I always know I want a morning appointment with him, because by the time you get in the afternoon, he's like an hour off his schedule because he's chatted up with everybody else. So you definitely want to be on the early end of things falling off the conveyor belt. But yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty exciting to me. Is there any other things you want to promote while you're here?
Well, no, like, in our company, we're really busy with, obviously, the remodeling. We're really busy with cabinetry. I also would invite anybody that just is a fan of handcrafted work to stop by our showroom on 135 Northeast Norton Ave in Bend, Oregon. We also own Natural Edge Furniture, and we make slab tables. And I really want to put a plug out right now to Sun River Brewing.
Okay.
Do you remember where McMinimans was? Not McMinimans. On the east side by the hospital. Jackson's East.
Yeah, Jackson.
So they went out of there. Yeah. Sun River Brewing went in there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And we did a 22-foot table for them.
Really?
And it's literally one of the coolest places to have sit and have a beer on. So
I'm gonna go and I was gonna say you've got 10 different businesses. You own Sun River Brewing too?
No.
Why didn't you tell me this?
No.
Why didn't you bring me some beers? This? I mean, you're not hooking me up.
Yeah,
that's cool. I'll go check out the table for sure.
Yeah, and it's a really cool location they have set up there. And it's local wood. I cut the wood myself. It came down from a tree in Terrebonne, an old elm tree that was on a farm.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have a slab saw?
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing your own.
We have
a
couple mills.
Portable mill?
Yeah, we have a mill up here in Benz, and then I also have a mill down in Northern California, where my hometown is.
Okay. Which is where?
Kelseyville.
Okay, Kelseyville. Great.
Yeah, and the reason is we don't have a lot of black walnut in Central Oregon, and that's where we salvage and source a lot of our wood down there for black walnut tables.
Yeah. Are you doing any juniper?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. We're doing a couple juniper pieces right now.
I mean, juniper slabs are beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they're hard.
Yeah. A lot of people are, when they're doing juniper right now, just because they're so, they have so many knots and things like that, we're doing a lot of epoxy infills, which is kind of, it's a fad. It's a phase. We're getting a lot of requests for river tables, things like that.
Wow, you are a jack of all trades.
Thank you.
You got a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
So I guess a couple more questions.
Yeah.
So somebody calls you from the podcast and say, "Hey, man, I want to get a project going." Back to setting expectations properly. Like, let's say somebody wants to do a kitchen remodel. What's a realistic turnaround time between calling you and realizing getting a project done?
Within, I mean, as far as getting the project done, obviously that depends on exactly what we're doing. But I would say, as far as meeting with people, we go out, we meet with people, we get projects done. I would say we're usually out within the front of a customer from a call within a week.
Okay.
We do a lot of larger projects. The problem with larger projects is you need to have, right now, with the way the economy is and manpower in Central Oregon, you need to be able to self-perform that work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not going to get done. So I need to have employees. But the thing is, with large projects, sometimes you're waiting on permits, waiting on another subcontractor.
Which means they're tapping their toes.
Yeah, you've got 15 or 16 employees that need something to do. So we just basically, at that point, try to help people with small jobs.
That's great.
That are, shovel ready, flooring, you name it.
Oh, so you guys do take on some smaller projects like that?
Yeah, we do smaller projects.
Tile work?
Keep people busy. Tile work,
you got a
showers.
Good tile setter?
Yeah, we do. And that's another thing we do is we knock out, showers, tile flooring.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because for me, that's the hardest thing. Is a lot of what we run into is maybe smaller projects than you would typically like to take. And you get tile guys, or you want to do a small bathroom or something, or even do some wood floors or something. 5 months I can get to do.
Yeah.
Or that's if they answer the phone, right? You answer your phone, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. And then as far as the cabinets go, do you take orders from people that you're not going to be putting them in their house? I mean,
for sure.
You'll sell cabinets.
Yeah, and we sell cabinets to other contractors.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
So.
All right. And then you'll sell them some tables too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then with the tables comes the stair treads, because, right now it's very hot to have a steel sort of naked stairway that has the floating modern stairs. So we sell, stair treads, we sell countertops, we sell bar tops. So it's busy.
Are you installing your own countertops?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, no, I need to take that back. We are installing them with their wood.
You're with solid. Gotcha.
We use
The solid
countertop companies, the solid surface, and then
you're doing your countertops too.
You wanted to talk about the doctor's office. When we have a countertop template, that's a deadline we have to hit.
Yeah, totally.
If we miss that, you can't do the backsplash before you have a countertop.
No.
You can't do the final electrical.
There's a lot of things that go wrong when the countertops don't show up.
Yeah. So I'm not buying a countertop company though.
Anytime soon, right? Okay. I might know somebody who would sell you one.
No.
You've reached the limits.
Yeah, I think I've reached the limit.
Yeah, your wife probably wants to hang out with you.
Yeah, and I would just say the only other thing I'm really passionate about right now is just real estate development within Bend.
Really?
My employees can't afford to live here.
Okay.
So I own some property. I'm trying to look at developing some properties currently where it would be more like workforce housing.
Yeah.
Where I could actually have really good people that work for me and actually afford to live in Bend based on, Bend prices right now for rent.
100%.
So a lot of young kids right out of school come work for a construction company. It's tough to pay, $2,500 a month for an apartment. It's crushing.
100%.
Yeah.
So. And that's, we're opening up another can of worms with, you're just going to have to come back because we got a ton of things to talk about, but on that level, I think that's amazing that you're thinking about that, and that's part of your passion. There's another builder in town. I won't steal your glory by talking about another builder, but there's another builder in town that cares about that deeply. Actually got into it for a very similar reason. We'll talk off camera about him.
And that's great.
Then I've got actually a buddy that's a developer in Eugene that has done a couple of projects that have done ownership outside of kind of the norm in a kind of co-op model. I'll hook you up with him as well.
That sounds great.
More than people here want to hear. But anyway, any final thoughts before I let you go back?
No, I just would say that anybody out there, need to come by the home show. It's rocking. It's free.
It is rocking. It's free. There's some great.
You've got a great setup here. So this is really comfy.
Well,
I don't really want to leave.
Let me tell you something. We just achieved a entire podcast episode with this interview. I think. How are we doing on time? Did we get close? Okay. All right. So you're going to it's official. You're a podcast episode.
Oh,
you'll be on one of our week's podcasts.
Great.
And we'll have you back because
Sounds
I think
good.
we've just scratched the surface of the shit.
You need to check the ratings first, right?
No, this is good content.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good content. But anyway, really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And let's hang out.
No, that sounds good. Look forward to it.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. Welcome to the Real Estate Revolution. I am Kip Lohr, your host with Lohr Real Estate, and we are at the Home and Garden Show, broadcasting live. It is day 2, and we have, tons of people here today. I encourage people to get out here and enjoy the show and see what the vendors are offering. And I have Chris with Central Oregon Gutter Company in the studio. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, and I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah, no problem.
Telling us what you guys do here in Central Oregon.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about you first. Like, how long you been in Central Oregon? What do you think of Central Oregon?
Yep. First of all, my name's Chris. I'm born and raised in Bend, Oregon. 36 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, went to high school, the whole deal.
Bend High?
Bend High, correct.
Okay, Bend High.
Graduated in 2005. Moved away for a little bit to play college baseball, and then found myself back here, and now I own a gutter company, and that's that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Where'd you play baseball?
Portland State.
Okay.
Yep.
And what was were you what position?
I was a pitcher.
You were a pitcher.
Left-handed.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Did you bring the heat?
Yeah, 91.
91's not bad.
Yeah, no,
that's pretty good.
I don't have it in me anymore, but I can still throw.
You can still throw.
Yeah.
Did you have any trick throws or?
Yeah, I was a cutter fastball. I'm a lefty, so my ball tails.
Okay.
So it's a natural tail, but the cutter was my go-to. That's the 3-strike. You're out.
Great. College athlete. That's
great.
It
was fun.
Yeah.
But I love beer too, so I found myself back in Bend.
You found yourself back in Bend and owning a gutter company.
Yeah,
So, okay,
it's been fun.
You have had your gutter company for the last 4 years, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but you've been doing gutters longer than that.
Yeah, I've been doing gutters for about 15 years now.
Okay.
I started off roofing for actually a roofing company that is here.
That is a
and
thankless
then I
job.
moved on to my, my niche.
Your own gig. Yeah.
And it's,
Cool.
it's been fun and kind of hopped around and kind of took everything from, the places that I've worked at and kind of combined them all into mine.
That's good.
It's been fun.
That's
good. I mean, that's really all I can say. I got a good group of guys, and
I mean, if you're not having fun doing your work,
then, we love to go out there. Yeah. Obviously, we do our job right. We're very, very particular about how we do things, but we also like to have a good time.
That's good.
We're laughing the whole day, and it just makes the day go by so much better, especially when the sun comes out. Then 100%. It's a whole different deal.
No doubt. And so, how many machines you run?
So I have one machine right now that's being ran by my two main guys. I'm hiring another guy when I get back from Mexico. I actually leave for Mexico on Monday.
Okay.
So when I get back, I'll hire another guy. I got another machine too. So we're gonna be running a couple machines, a couple of guys doing some repairs, maintenance.
Great.
I call it preventative maintenance because we're not your basic gutter company. We're gonna go through, and if you want a cleaning, we're gonna clean it. We're also going to take it a step higher. Yeah. We're going to reseal all your corners, your end caps. We're going to go do a nice solid once over of your gutter system. That way you're not calling us in 3 months saying hey man, this is leaking now.
Yeah, totally.
But we already fixed that.
Yeah.
It is
perfect.
In price. It's a little more, but for what you get,
it's worth it.
It's the longevity that matters for us.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that would be like, hey man, we live in Central Oregon. There's not a whole lot of rain that happens here.
Right.
Why the heck do I need gutters?
So that's it's one of those subjects. As a gutter guy, I'm like, I don't know what you're
a little
talking
defensive.
about.
I know. Well, listen, I was
gutters need to be everywhere. If you ask me about it,
you got gutters on your gutters. Yeah,
but also, we live in Central Oregon. It snows.
Yeah, that's right.
You get that ice melt that comes down on your patios, your walkways for your renters. If you're renting houses or Airbnbs, you want to save your butt.
Yeah.
You don't want to have water dripping and then freezing, and then somebody coming in to stay at your house for a couple of days and slip and break their back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That little teeny fix in that front entry, a couple of little sections with a downspout will contain that water and get it away.
Yeah, totally.
So that's kind of what I pitch to people. It's not just the rain.
Right.
It's the snow melt. It's, there's a lot that goes into it.
Totally.
It's a preventative
You're preventing a lot of problems.
Yeah, it's a preventative solution to a much bigger problem.
Yeah.
For the price that you're going to pay for gutters is very minimal to the price that you're going to pay for other things around your house.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as a real estate agent, I always recommend people get gutters on their places if they don't have them.
Yeah.
If they've got there's some partial stuff that, like you say, like around the front door, so you don't get rained on walking in your front door.
Yeah.
I always recommend that, they just get the rest of the house done because of what you're talking about, preventing some of these avoidable issues that can happen to. You were talking about the compressor for AC or a heat
100%.
pump.
That's a $10,000 machine.
Exactly. Or your dog run. Dropping a bunch of water in the dog run.
Brand new stained patio on the back.
Yeah, totally.
You have no gutters. You just stained it. First rain comes through, and you got a solid stained line of water that just dripped on your whole back patio.
Yeah,
now you got to go redo it.
Well, the good news for you is that people that are immigrating to Bend are more hip to the idea of why you need gutters.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are coming from areas where, like, they look at and they're like, I get people that come up from California. They're like, why doesn't this have any gutters? They come over from the valley, and it's like, why aren't there any gutters on this house? And
exactly.
Like, well, it's Central Oregon, and people don't get it.
Yeah, and it's one of those, like 50-50 things with people here. You know, like some people do come over from the valley, and they're like, oh, I moved to Central Oregon. I don't need gutters anymore.
I don't need gutters anymore, right?
And I'm like, why'd you call me?
Right. That's a good question.
Why am I here?
Right. Totally.
So it's mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like they call because they want this product, and then the second sentence that comes out of their mouth is,
"We didn't need them.
I moved from the valley. I don't think I need them." I'm like,
but then you tell them why they need them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then I go my whole spiel, and
that's great.
And I don't lie to people. I tell them exactly the truth.
Yeah.
If they don't need them in certain spots, then we won't put them in certain spots.
Perfect.
I'm going to do a once around with you your entire home.
Yep.
And I'm a big aesthetic guy, so I'm going to make your house look great with brand new gutters.
Right.
I'm going to match things. We're going to put chains in certain spots.
Nice.
But if you don't need you don't need a gutter on a back little pop out roof, let's not put one there.
Yeah,
I'm going to be
perfect.
transparent with people.
That's
I'm
great.
not going to lie to them. I'm going to tell them what they need.
You are my kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
I just like being real with people. I've been real my whole life.
That's
so
good.
It's one of those things where I'm just gonna, I'm gonna stay true to myself.
You're gonna be a truth teller.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
I got it. So what's final thought? What I know, how do people get a hold of you? That's a good final thought.
Well, we got multiple ways to get a hold of me, and my wife is actually in the office.
Okay.
So
let's hear it.
Phone number to start is 541-728-2144. That's a direct line to my wife, who manages my scheduling and estimates and that. We also have an email at info@centraloregongutter.com.
Okay.
If you obviously can't get a hold of us via the phone, because we have phone calls coming in all the time.
Yep.
Feel free to leave a voicemail, but another quick place to get to us is email.
Perfect.
Or you can go onto our website at centraloregongutter.com and find us there. We have a contact site. You fill it out. We'll contact you with an estimate, and we'll get you guys squared away.
Dude, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah,
this is fun,
you'll have to come again.
Yeah,
and actually, I might have you come over to my house. And I got one gutter line that I just never got done. So
Perfect.
I'll give you a call.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've never done a podcast before.
Well, now
I watch them all the time. My wife watches them all the time, and I feel like I'm something right now.
We will send you a copy of this, and you get to see this on our website as well.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys.
All right, thanks a lot,
Chris.
Chris.
A pleasure, man.
Yep.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Revolution podcast. I am Kip Lohr, your host with Lohr Real Estate. We are going live from the Central Oregon Builders Association Home and Garden Show. It has been 2 years. I can't believe it's been 2 years, but it's been 2 years since we've been able to come and do these shows because of obvious reasons. And so we decided to come down and broadcast live throughout the show. We'll be here for all 3 days of the show, and we are interviewing guests, vendors, and people, passers-by. Come down if you want your 5 minutes of fame, and we'll put you on the interwebs. Anyway, I have Tyler with Infinity Solar. You guys have a booth here, yeah? Yep. Right. And so what I'm going to ask you is to tell me a little bit about Tyler first, and then we'll talk about Infinity Solar. Does that sound good? So like, how long you been in Central Oregon? How do you like it? That kind of stuff.
I love Central Oregon. I'm a local Oregonian. I grew up in Hillsborough, Oregon.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
And so,
little wetter.
Yep. Exactly.
Little colder.
I wanted to get away from the clouds and rain.
Nice.
Got sick and tired of the
drizzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how long you been in Central Oregon?
I've been here for almost 2 years now.
Okay. So
I was in Dallas, Texas for about 2 years before that. So.
With Infinity, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Cool. And you guys are based out of Vancouver?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So we launched this office just about the same time I came here.
Okay.
Typically, the Central Oregon market isn't normally a market we would probably normally come into a normal situation. Typically we're like out of, Portland, Oregon, Seattle.
Totally. Bigger metros.
Dallas. Yep.
Yeah.
Central, we're all local Oregonians. The owner of the company actually lives locally in Central Oregon.
And what's his name?
Matt.
Yeah. And he was like, we got to be in Bend. I got to have an excuse to go to Bend and ride the wave down at the river, right?
Yeah.
I know how it goes. So good on him. So now that you guys are here, a lot of people are familiar with solar.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks associate that with kind of like rent to own or lease, or, I'm going to I don't own the equipment, but I buy the power from you at a discount. Like, what is it? What's the model for you guys?
So you own the panels when you buy from us. So you purchase the panels, and whether you're
all
paying,
the gear.
Exactly. Whether you're paying cash out of pocket for that, and then eventually getting a return on it, or if you're, financing it and, kind of setting up something to where it's very similar to what you're already paying for power, and, just kind of locking in your power rates and eventually owning it. So,
got it.
Yeah.
What, for somebody who buys a system cash, what are the average turnaround times of break even that you're telling people? And I know I know you get that question. It's like, that's hard to answer, but
it depends on so many different things.
Yeah.
One, where's your roof facing?
Totally.
How much energy you're using in the home, what size system you need.
Yeah.
the angles of the roof, all that kind of stuff. And so, I always make the joke at one point in time, you had to be really smart to do my job.
But not anymore.
Exactly. Because we have this really cool software that shows us all and how it all works.
But you had to learn when you had to be smart, right?
Exactly.
So you're still a smart guy. You're not leaning on the tech.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
But it comes down to many things. And then also inflation of energy, which obviously inflation is going up all over the place with 100%. Everything, gas, everybody's seeing it. Yeah. Inflation of energy is huge because in the state of Oregon, we've always kind of been spoiled with energy.
With hydroelectric.
Yep, hydroelectric, lots of supply of energy, California, that's the whole thing where supply demand with energy, and that's why their power rates are so high.
100%.
And then you have things like that happen in Texas where, the grid totally failed.
Which is not a good thing.
It's crazy. Yeah.
But in the winter.
Exactly.
And
so, that things like that are making, people realize and see more. And right now in Oregon, it's really starting because Oregon made the biggest green initiative, 100% renewable by 2040.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And so that's the biggest initiative in the country.
I'm behind. I better get going.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm driving an electric car, so I'm getting there.
Yeah, you're there, right?
I'm getting there. Yeah.
And so with all those things happening, right, like we've totally shut down coal power, which overall I think is generally a good thing.
Yeah.
Right. But with changes, and then, hydroelectric even has its, controversies and.
Well, and with water levels going down and down and down, you're looking at what's going on in Nevada right now. And
exactly.
It's like even that's not a 100% given, right?
Yep. And so like Pacific Power, they shot up, they're shooting for, they requested from Public Utilities Commission. So obviously this has to get approved, but they're trying to do a 14.3% price hike just next year in power.
Wow.
And that's mainly what most people are using out here is Pacific Power. And then there's other co-ops and stuff like that. And so
that's right.
Basically to answer your question, what I'm getting at is, there's variable things to it, like inflation of energy. We've typically fallen around a 3% annual increase average in Oregon.
Yeah.
So when you're calculating off a 3% increase, and then depending on different measures, you're anywhere from a 6-year to maximum maybe 10 to 11 years on your return if you pay cash right out of pocket.
Got
as far
it.
as return on investment.
How far downstream or down the road do expensive components start to crap out on you? Because the panels go for a while, yeah?
Everything's pretty much warranty 25 years.
Really?
Yep. So you got your bracketing system, and then when we get to the two-knit grit technology side of things, I'm not the expert.
No worries.
I know.
I'm not going to ask you
I know
to get
just
too
enough
geeky
to be.
with it.
I know just enough to be dangerous.
Right.
So
totally.
Yeah. But as far as like your bracketing system, those are all warranty 25 years. Your inverters.
That's what I'm wondering about.
Yeah.
The inverters.
So traditionally, they used to use like a little string inverter.
That's right.
Where they'd run a line through all the panels.
Yep.
In the Northwest, it doesn't work too well because if one of those panels are shaded, then the whole entire system is not working, right?
Yeah.
But nowadays, I mean, microinverters are very popular. Those just go directly underneath the panel. So they're all working at their optimal level.
Okay.
And as well as those are warranted 25 years as well.
Wow.
So,
okay. So that's starting to make more sense.
Exactly.
Okay. And you were talking about just had a brain fart. You keep going. Bail me out here, man.
Man, this is supposed to be your job. To keep me going.
I know. To keep you going. I know. And I totally had a brain fart. I've been doing this all day.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the process for people if they're interested in getting solar from you. Where do they get started?
So
we pulled it off, man.
Yeah.
We looked a little dumb for a second. And
there we go. We're good.
Yeah,
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. So most of the time it's just getting a report for the home, right?
Yeah.
We have different ways we do our marketing. I mean, majority of our business comes from door to door, actually.
Okay.
And that's just going.
So you're
going to
knock on my door one of these days?
Probably not me, but one of my guys probably will. So when they do, you can call me.
I'll say, hey, man, Tyler, you should be at my door.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
The signs don't work, by the way. So I would just,
fair enough.
Baby signs, those are the keys. So that's a trick for everybody. Baby sleeping, even if you don't have one, you don't want to mess with Mama Bear.
I agree with that.
So
So basically,
we come out, we say, hey, look, we're doing these reports for free. These things are happening.
Yeah.
There's a lot of incentives for homeowners, and really, we're just trying to see if it makes sense for you.
I like it. I'll probably have you come to my place.
All right, let's do it.
I'm serious. So, for real.
Yeah.
But you were also talking about, I just remembered what I forgot. So you were talking about, like, you're not a roofing company, but you do roofs.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So talk a little bit about that.
That's kind of just our way of, kind of being able to, one, because a lot of times the objection to going solar is, well, I
have to buy a new roof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or it's even in that time frame of, 5, 6 years or whatever,
But you don't want to put a
period.
25-year set of equipment on a roof that's going to crap out in 5 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as far as like, if you were to do that, one, because, our guys do work on roofs, bracketing off and then it's pretty much just an unplug, unbracket, and then re-shingle around.
Got it.
So the cost to do that's typically $100 to $150 a panel just to uninstall and reinstall it and then re-roof the roof. But that's why we did roofing as well, is just to be able to offer, hey, we can do it all together. Everything's warranted together.
That makes sense.
And we're not really in it to make a lot of money on our roofs, so we find we're very competitive in that division. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, what did we not cover?
I don't know. I think we're good to go.
You think we're good to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do people get a hold of you?
I mean,
other than you knocking on their door, if they want to reach out to you directly, how
they can check out our website, Infinity Solar USA. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be dangerous for putting my phone number on here or not, but
you mean get in trouble for it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, no one's going to start getting spam calls or something.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you can call or text me 503-867-1461.
Great.
I'd be more than happy to give you a bid and see if it makes sense for you or not. So,
all right. Was this painless?
This was painless. I was a little nervous at first. So.
It's okay. Well, I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Come by the booth. I want to make sure I get one of your cars before you go.
Yep.
And just come by and hang out.
Awesome.
All right.
Good.
And actually, everybody out there, go by Infinity Solar's booth. Check it out.
Go.
There you go. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining The Revolution. We are over and out until next week, when we'll continue to fill you in on all that matters most in our local Bend and Eugene real estate scenes. See you next time on The Real Estate Revolution.